Day, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mr. Little. Today we have our last lesson on our third unit, how to find success in international markets. We're coming back to the lesson, the discussion on currency exchange. So we will be converting a number of currencies, okay? And we'll look at how currency rates affect international business, more specifically, how currency rates may affect your education, okay? So let's get into our discussion now. I'll share my screen with you. Give me a second. So the value of a country's currency plays an important role in international business. For example, a Canadian business that sells in a foreign market obviously has to figure out how to convert the price of their products into the currency accepted in that country. Currency values change frequently and need to be monitored. So if you're doing let's say you're doing $100 million worth of business in a foreign country and the exchange rate changes by 1%, that can be a significant amount of money. So knowing how to convert your currency into the home currency's value, as well as knowing, kind of the general ebbs and flow of that currency is mandatory, okay? So the Canadian, the US, and the Euro tend to be what we call hard currency, which means that they don't fluctuate as much and are mostly accepted or widely accepted on foreign exchange markets. They can be easily converted. Most places will certainly take American dollars. We talked about that. But then we have other currencies known as soft currencies, right? So we might talk about the ruble, the rupee. There's so many examples. In Buenos Aires, in Argentina, the currency fluctuates all the time. They have the peso, the Argentinian peso, okay? Those are known as soft currencies, all right? So a soft currency might be given a lower rating than something that's a harder currency. So currency is rated from AAA, which is the highest rating for hard currency, to D, which is a soft currency rating. All right, so we need to know how to exchange and convert different currencies, okay? So if this was in class, and I'll show you now, actually, if I can do it here. Okay, so I'll pull up my calculator. Hopefully you can see this, CAL, right here, okay? So let's say, right, hopefully this is going to be able to show for you. Let's say I have $100 Canadian, okay? And let's say that each Canadian dollar, right, is worth 75 cents US. So if I had $100 Canadian, and let's say today's exchange rate was 75 cents US to Canadian, if I wanted to figure out how much it would be in Canadian, I would simply times it by the percentage, 75%, 0.75, right? Which means I would get $75 US. Okay, that's great. So now let's say we're converting Canadian dollars into Brazilian real, which is another currency name, right? And let's say that one Canadian dollar is worth 400 Brazilian real. So let's say Mr. Little has 1,000 Canadian dollars, right? And he wants to go on vacation to Brazil and he wants to convert it to real. And today's exchange rate is one Canadian dollar will get you 400 real. So then you just multiply it by 400. And that would tell you how much you would get in local currency, okay? So let's take a look at this assignment now. Exchange rates affect how much we pay for goods and services. It also will affect how much you want to pay if you want to study abroad. So, did you know foreign students who come to Canada pay about twice the amount of money that native Canadian students do? Their decision may actually be affected on currency rates. And I've seen this as an educator. I've seen when the Canadian dollar is very high, that ESL numbers of students who come from other countries is lower because it costs more money to come to Canada. I've also seen it when it's low, and we've seen an influx of students from overseas. So here's your job. I showed you how to convert funds, okay? If you click on this link, it has up-to-date exchange rates. Other things you can do is there's online, they have apps, okay, that are currency converters. Google has a currency converter, and it will do it automatically for you. You can use that as well. So here's what I want you to do. I think there's a total of 10 spots here. I want you to look online and look for 10 different universities or colleges overseas in another country, okay, that you might want to study in. Tell me what currency they use.
Hello?
Say you want to take a Bachelor of Commerce, you want to study business. Tell me how much it costs in the local currency. Tell me the exchange rate and then convert it into Canadian dollars. So the first one is done for you. So let's say I want to go to this university. In Dubai, they use dirhams. It costs 34,500 dirham at an exchange rate of 0.2730, which converts to $9,413 Canadian. Okay? Now look, find out some information about any university in Canada. What's the name of the school and how does the price compare to that of an international school? And what would happen if we didn't have an exchange rate? We wouldn't know which one costs more, okay? Define currency value, revaluation and devaluation. Don't worry about 293 in your textbooks. And then there's a little issue here. If a company sells to another country, but the currency is company's country devalues, will other countries tend to buy more or less of their product? Use an imaginary exchange rate to explain your answer. By the end of this unit, you should definitely be able to answer that question, okay? I'm going to stop sharing my screen with you now. Okay, and just to summarize, we've talked about hard currency, soft currency, AAA ratings, D ratings, and the impact of currency fluctuations on important business transactions, okay? Once you're finished everything, go back and finish anything else that's outstanding in the unit, and then I'll give you some type of summative task in the next video, okay? Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you all soon. Okay, bye.